ॐ जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः. Regarding Padmalochan, Sri Ramakrishna explained how he was holding on to reality, avoiding empty discussions, hair-splitting discussions, saying that neither me nor earlier 14 generations have seen or known who Shiva is or Brahma is, who is greater, how shall I tell? Means, first thing is to divert our attention to the purpose for which we have come. Sri Ramakrishna time and again he says that you have come to this world to attain. You have got a human body to attain. What you have to attain and go. What is the, you have entered a mango grove, see where mangoes are available, eat and go. There is no very purpose in counting the number of leaves each tree has got. It will not lead you anywhere. The purpose is to be fulfilled, and it has to be done through devotion to God, acceptance of the ultimate unchanging one existence, and intense activity to serve this world. Give ourselves entirely where ego dissolves. Ego dissolves through engaging ourselves in activities, the kartritva, bhoktritva and jnatritva. Jnatritva of this world, scriptural knowledge also is a part of this world. So that actual knowledge is experience. So here we see the activities is not for me. It is benefit goes to others. My destruction of ego is there. Ego is dissolved through activities and extreme implicit obedience to the higher authorities. That is why we subject ourselves to an institution where rules and regulations are there. Life is regulated. Everything is regulated. So I put myself into that framework so that my ego dissolves. I don't express or do what I feel myself right. No. Because the ego, I am satisfying in and through that. I may call it spiritual practice, but actually it is my understanding which I am following with my ego. I am nourishing my ego and my understanding. Understanding what we have is wrong understanding, generated from the experiences of the world. So experience of the world is incomplete because some dreams we have created and unfulfilled desires regarding the dreams are still pending in our heart, and then some experience which are against the devotion to God, and otherwise which will take us immediately, it would have taken. So again, that stands against the love of God and total dedication to the ideal. Those experiences are, with that knowledge, I am trying to do my sadhana in my own way. This here, when he enters an institution, a community, then all things is restricted. Timely. You have to undergo all things and adjust yourself slowly with the rest of the things to move together, because otherwise ego will not dissolve. The more I separate, I am supporting my ego, I am watering my ego. the more I live in my own understanding, I am not allowing the real truth to come. I am not counteracting the realities of life. I am not counteracting or meeting or participating in the reality of existence. So we go, that Sangachatvam Sambhadadam, all that is come into picture. There slowly ego dissolves. In activities, in service, in sacrifice, ego dissolves. And then knowledge dawns by itself from within. When ego is not there, kartritva, doership is gone, enjoyership is gone, knowership, it knows nothing. It is what all was known was detrimental to the actual knowledge. It was an obstruction to the knowledge. When these two dissolve, the truth shines by itself. So here Padmalochan comes into picture how he manages the things. A devotee. Sir, you met here. Another thing we have to see in this conversation. Sri Ramakrishna says, he says to Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna speaks about the renunciation of Kamini Kanchana, giving up of Kamini Kanchana, that which is going to bind you forever. Now, he says, it comes out of ignorance. This is money, this is clay, this is gold, this is clay. Everything is matter. Whether you call it clay or this one, both are matter. It is immaterial. Here the discrimination. Sri Ramakrishna just says, he has lived by the will of God. He has lived according to the will of God. He never had his own will. Most important thing is, see, when people advise a totally dependent on God and working according to the God's will, he doesn't have any will of his own anywhere. To such a person, when somebody advises, he has nothing to say. Oh, I did not take this decision. I am not living according to that. What God makes me speak, I speak. What God makes me to live, I live. I don't have individual will. I don't have individual knowledge. I have nothing to give or take from this world. So here, total dependence on God and He will being dissolved of Sri Ramakrishna is depicting. I don't understand all those things. This is how God is making me exist. This Sikh Guru, he says, merge your individual will, Guru Nanak, merge your individual will with a divine will, in divine will. Don't have any doership. What a beautiful concept you see. God's will, I live according to God's will. Whether it is suffering, whether it is heaven, whether it is hell, doesn't matter. What He wills, wherever you will, it means this is the ultimate state of surrender. I have given myself unconditionally to God. You manage my life. It is what Arjuna hands over the reins of his horses and carriage to Krishna. You do now whatever you do want, wherever you want to take. So this Sri Ramakrishna is depicting as the ultimate ashraya for jiva, refuge for jiva. There was a Pandit who was tremendously vain He did not believe in the forms of God. But who can understand the inscrutable ways of the divine? God revealed himself to him as the primal power, Shakti. This vision made the Pandit unconscious for a long time. After regaining partial consciousness, he uttered only ka ka ka. He could not fully pronounce the word Kali. A devotee. Sir, you met Pandit Vidyasagar. What did you think of him? The subject matter changes. But for this interference, I don't know what Sri Ramakrishna would have told. There was a Pandit who was tremendously vain. He did not believe in the forms of God. But who can understand the inscrutable ways of divine? He has not done any sadhana. He is not asking for it. He did not even believe in God. But see, many times we see just holding on to love and compassion and doing dharma, not to go in the path of adharma and anyaya. Anyaya is going to harm the society. You may have the option to live, but it's going to harm you are responsible for the karma that you are doing. Adharma is going to make you sink in the world. Adharma. Anyaya. Adharma takes you to involution. And anyaya binds you with the karmic cycle, to the karmic cycle. Both, if they are not there, adharma and anyaya are not there in you, and then you are loving and compassionate to all, this itself will evolve. If you are living a dharmic life of love and sacrifice, that itself will make you realize God. God reveals himself to the soul which is pure and divine. So he has not done sadhana. He doesn't believe in God also. But God knows whom to reveal at what time. And he gets the vision of Divine Mother. This vision made the Pandit unconscious for a long time. After regaining partial consciousness, he only uttered ka, ka, ka. He could not fully fully pronounce Kali. It is still in unconscious, half-conscious, external awareness. Master, a devotee. Sir, you met Pandit Vidyasagar. What did you think of him, Master? Vidyasagar has both scholarship and charity, but he lacks the inner vision. Gold lies hidden within him. Had he but found it out, his activities would have been reduced. Finally, they would have stopped altogether. Had he but known that God resides in his heart, his mind would have been directed to God in thought and meditation. Some persons must perform selfless work for a long time before they can practice dispassion and direct their minds to spiritual ideal and at last be absorbed in God. The activities of the Sri Ramakrishna is explaining. He is extremely, he is not an ordinary person, he is a scholar. In our Bengal, most of the schools and colleges and even in our training center for brahmacharis, we use many of his grammatical formations, simple sutras he has done, like Pānini sutras he has formulated. There is Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, Siddhanta Kaumudi, and all this. Apart from these things, which are condensed form of the Ashtadhyayi, he has formulated his own simple, children can understand that kind of formulas, they can memorize and use them. So those things are being, means he is not only scholar in these, even in scriptures he has the knowledge, but he is unable to bear the suffering of mankind, suffering of the jivas. Because when we see partially, we don't understand. When we see collectively, there is an understanding. Now, an engine, you see, intense activities going on in engine, in the piston, constantly running. All the others are, even gear wheels are smoothly going. But here there is combustion, there is heat, there is explosion, it is being pushed forward, all others are. Why this partiality? Why the piston should be heated like that? Burning heat and explosion, being hammered again and again. While other things are, now gear wheels are dipped in oil, smoothly running. When you see individually, it looks entirely strange and injustice. But when you see collectively, it is working in perfect harmony with each other, beautifully designed to make a huge carriage move. Somewhere something has to be sacrificed to reach the ultimate. Here we see that he has knowledge, but not complete knowledge. His heart is taken over by the suffering of mankind. But suffering is the necessary precondition of evolution, is unknown. Every experience is going to get converted into wisdom one day that is going to take him beyond the limitations of nature. He is going to be free forever from the prison house of nature. When we see partially, we see a different thing. What is going to capture us? So, Vidyasagar is both scholarship and charity, compassion for others, loving. You see, morning, when he comes out, after his morning worship, this, that, meditation and all, when he comes out and sees, a queue is to stand in those days of people. Each one will come and tell their grievances, what all they are experiencing, suffering, what they need help from him. Some want money, some want a job, some want something, some want small food materials to sustain the newborn baby, something like that. Though all these are worldly needs, may not be enjoyments, needs of a life, is to part, see that all those are satisfied and people go with joyful face. But he did not know that treasure for which he is striving, what is making him, because this is eternally going on. Samsara is eternally going on. Endlessly it is going on. Same thing is repeating again and again, time and again. It is a flow. Where to correct? It is flood of the rainy season. What can you do? What can be done? It is flowing. Which part to correct? You correct. You take out one bucket of water, correct, and you pour it in the river. You see, the moment you pour the cleaned water, it it is going away to become dirty water, mixing with dirty water. What is continuous? What to correct in this world? Where to correct? Where to serve? By serving, wherever the God gives an opportunity to serve, we evolve. Blessed are those, the blessing comes to the donor. What happens to the receiver is unknown. The activities of Vidyasagar is engaged, engaged in are good. The activities that Vidyasagar is engaged in are good. Charity is very noble. So look at the Sri Ramakrishna himself, God incarnate is going to his door to see him. Means how much of love, compassion and purity must be there in his heart. We go with impure heart to serve. We are not able to see an inch of divine in them. We see body and mind and try to serve there. It is not purity. Purity is to be free from one's own body awareness, to see, penetrate, see a little presence of divinity. You may not be able to see the divine, but presence of divinity. Divinity you are going to serve. So that kind of purity, that kind of compassion was there in him. Charity is very, very noble. There is a great deal of difference between daya, compassion, and maya, attachment. Daya, compassion, and maya, attachment. Daya is good, but not maya. Maya is love for one's own relatives, one's wife, children, brother, sister, nephew, father, mother, etc. But daya is the same love for all created beings without any distinction. Is daya also a bondage? Master, yes, it is. But that concept is something far beyond the ordinary man. Daya springs from sattva. Sattva preserves, rajas creates, and tamas destroys. But Brahman is beyond the three gunas. It is beyond Prakriti. See, the question is here is daya and maya. Maya is attachment. Maya is towards his own people, limited. He is having the sense of mindness in them, so he serves, feels compassionate. When my child is suffering, he is sick, I am worried, I am weep. But my neighbor, similar child of the neighbor is there, who is equally sick and maybe more helpless than what my child is. Yet I don't feel compassionate. This is Maya. Suppose I feel same thing I feel or more I feel for them because he has less help, then I am in daya. My looking after my children and the others are same. So daya and maya. Now the maya is going to bind. Every act he is doing out of selfishness, it is going to bind and he has to repay the karmic load. But maya, daya is not like that. It is not going to bind you. Here the questioner is asking, is daya also is bondage? Because it's the moment you see the suffering, you are forced to work. You are forced to run. You weep. It's a bondage. Is it not a bondage? You are weeping for your child, you are weeping for the other's child. Is it not a bondage? Sri Ramakrishna is saying, yes, it's also a bondage, but that bondage is born out of sattva, this is born of tamas. This is going to, it is not going to release you, but daya is going to release you from the other bonds that you have bound yourself. So many bonds you are going to get released because sattva is predominant. Sattva is the one of the three bondages. The Sri Ramakrishna used to tell the three in the forest. A person will be going, three looters hold them, thieves. All the three are thieves. One binds, he wants to kill him and go, take his things and go. The another person says, no, why kill him? We'll bind him to the tree and take the things and go away. Then they bind the person to the tree and go away. The tamas is telling to kill, rajas is telling to bind and go away, take the things and all the three go. After some time, the sattva comes back and sees him and says, are you hurt? I will release you. Then he releases that person from all things. And because it is sattva, he releases. And he takes him to the border of the village and says, your house is there, you can go. He says, you come all the way, helped me so much. Come to my house, have a cup of tea and go. I can express my gratitude to you. Only that is the only thing I can do. He says, no, I cannot come. I am also a thief. I be caught by the police. So here we see the sattva is also a thief, but it is going to release you. Rajas is going to bind you. Tamas is going to destroy you. So here Sri Ramakrishna becomes very clear that Daya and Maya, how beautiful are the questions the devotees ask and how beautifully answers you see Sri Ramakrishna. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.